Artificial intelligence, in particular, represents one of the most significant technological transformations of our era. Its ability to analyze vast amounts of data, automate processes, and generate innovative solutions offer unprecedented opportunities to improve productivity, strengthen public services, and promote economic development. However, we must also recognize that the rapid expansion of artificial intelligence raises important questions for our democracies. Artificial intelligence systems can affect fundamental rights such as privacy, freedom of expression, and equality before the law. They can also amplify risks such as disinformation and digital manipulation. For this reason, parliaments have a central responsibility to ensure that technological development is guided by ethical principles, transparency, and respect for human rights. In Peru, we are fully aware of the challenge. In 2023, the Congress of the Republic approved law number 31814, which promotes the use of artificial intelligence to support the country's economic and social development. This law establishes principles and guidelines for the responsible use of AI in areas such as education, healthcare, public security, and public service. In addition, Peru has launched a national artificial intelligence strategy aimed at strengthening our innovation ecosystem, promoting digital talent, and encouraging the use of emerging technologies to improve the quality of life of our citizens. Nevertheless, global technological development still faces major structural challenges, including the digital divide between developed and developing countries. Millions of people around the world still lack access to the internet and the benefits of the digital revolution. If we do not act responsible, artificial intelligence could widen these inequalities even further, concentrating technological power in the hands of only a few members of society. This is why international cooperation is essential. The governance of artificial intelligence cannot be addressed by countries acting alone. It must be built through global dialogue involving governments, parliaments, the scientific community, the private sector, and civil society. At the same time, we must promote regulatory frameworks that strike the right balance between innovation and the protection of the fundamental rights, avoiding both the absence of regulation and excessive restrictions that could hinder scientific progress. Parliaments must also strengthen their capacity to understand technological change and legislate based on scientific evidence and informed debate. Artificial intelligence should not be seen only as a technological tool, but as an opportunity to build more human, equitable, and sustainable societies. From Peru, we reaffirm our commitment to working with the international community to promote the responsible, ethical, and inclusive development of science, technology, and artificial intelligence. But the future of legislation is not only about artificial intelligence. It also addresses environmental sustainability and intergenerational justice. And this topic is important because currently we must only think about solving present problems, but also protect the rights of future generations to live in a healthy and balanced environment. In the case of Peru, there are already laws that reflect this approach. For example, the General Environment Law establishes that everyone has the right to enjoy a healthy environment. Likewise, the Framework Law on Climate Change seeks for the state to adopt measures against the effects of climate change. There is also water resources law, which regulates the responsible use of water and forestry, and wildlife law, which protects our forests and biodiversity. All these regulations show that the country has already taken important steps toward more sustainable legislation. However, the great challenge for the future is not just passing more laws, but ensuring they are effectively enforced. This is where intergenerational justice comes in, which means acting responsible today to avoid harming those who will live tomorrow. In other words, when the state regulates water use, protects forests, or sets obligations in the face of climate change, it is legislating with future generations in mind, not only those who live today. Therefore, the challenge moving forward will be to strengthen these laws, improve their compliance, and ensure that sustainability stops being just a general principle and becomes a real obligation in every public and private decision. In conclusion, legislating with an environmental focus is not only a present necessity, but also a duty to future generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maria del Carmen Alva Prieto, talking, of course, about AI and regulatory challenges there. All right, with that, we come to an end of the segment Next in AI. We're going to quickly now shift our focus to our next segment that we are going to be discussing and focusing on this evening, the second day of NXT 2026. And we are now going to be focusing on next in curing cancer. This is certainly the need of the hour. And first, we are going to begin with a keynote address on Namo Shakti, the world's largest breast cancer screening mission. So for her keynote